Nicolas.
Enchanté.
Salut Nicolas.
Salut.
Désirez-vous que j'effectue la lecture des consignes en anglais ou en français?
En anglais, s'il vous plaît.
Sorry for my English. Each team has 20 minutes to present its case to the judge. The time of presentation will be divided. The first 5 minutes of the presentation are considered as being protected, meaning that the judge cannot interrupt the team. The next 10 minutes are non-protected. The beginning of this period will be when I ring the bell. When the non-protected period will end, I will ring it again. The judge has the possibility of interrupting the presentation in order to ask questions of clarification on the subject presented at this moment. The judge will have to limit himself to 15 seconds to ask his questions. The team has to answer the question but can then continue his presentation without waiting for the agreement of the judge. The judge cannot ask questions on a subject having already been covered or which has not been presented yet. This question must be approached during the period of question at the end of the presentation. The last 5 minutes of the presentation are meant to conclude the presentation and are shielded from question of the judge. I will show boards showing the remaining time when there will be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds left, and will make the countdown of the last 10 seconds by using my hands. A period of question of a maximum duration of 5 minutes is assigned to the jury at the end of the presentation. I would like to remind to each judge that it's mandatory to ask at least one question during this period. I will now invite the judge to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Charles Baudeville. I'm the trade marketing lead for Quebec for Labatt Brewery.
Hi, Julie Chamberlain, I'm the category manager for Quebec, Labatt Breweries.
Marc-Olivier Bourgeois, Regional Sales Director for Labatt.
Nicolas Roger, in charge of the trade marketing strategy for retail for Quebec.
Xavier Freeman, entrepreneur.
Bonjour mesdames, messieurs. D'abord, merci beaucoup aux juges de nous donner l'opportunité aujourd'hui de nous présenter votre solution. On sait que Labatt vient de fêter ses 170 ans. Elle a eu du succès jusqu'à aujourd'hui en étant très innovant, en ayant un produit de très grande qualité. Puis, on est là aujourd'hui pour vous proposer la même chose pour le futur. On sait que l'industrie de la bière, de manière générale, subit un déclin alors qu'on se parle. Par contre, certains vont vous dire que c'est un risque. Nous, on voit l'opportunité vraiment de s'assurer que Labatt soit encore le leader dans l'industrie quand on va fêter ses 200 ans très prochainement. Comme on le sait, les milléniaux, l'opportunité, c'est eux qui vont avoir le plus grand pouvoir d'achat dans les années à venir. Puis la stratégie qu'on vous propose aujourd'hui de lancer des bières saisonnales vraiment va vous permettre de capturer ce marché-là. Au début, on va aller évidemment d'un test avec les dépanneurs indépendants. Comme ce qu'on disait, cette stratégie-là devrait vous coûter 2,25 millions pour les 2 premières années. Puis vraiment, on est certain que ça va vous assurer du succès. Par la suite, comme on va le démontrer, ça va vous permettre de vous positionner pour capturer l'ensemble du marché. Vraiment, c'est une opportunité en or avec des très bonnes marges, comme on va le démontrer plus tard. Donc aujourd'hui, ce qu'on propose à Labatt, c'est de rester pertinent pour le consommateur d'aujourd'hui, mais surtout celui de demain. On reste fidèle aux valeurs de Labatt. On a un produit qui va être de très grande qualité. On reste innovant. On travaille avec vos dépanneurs indépendants. C'est ceux qui vendent à votre client. Donc, c'est vraiment intéressant d'avoir une bonne relation avec eux autres. Puis, évidemment, on écoute aux besoins du client. C'est lui qui est le roi. Donc, la stratégie qu'on propose aujourd'hui vraiment satisfait tous ses besoins.
Okay, so we'll first go into briefly our agenda. So first we will address the current situation and have a little bit of analysis. Then we will go into the challenges that Labatt is facing nowadays before exploring quickly some alternatives and giving our final recommendations, discussing the financials, and finally walking you through our key takeaways. So first of all, the situation. If you look at the industry as a whole, you can see that it is a maturing industry. Now the beer market is mature, there's not that much growth. And it has touched a lot of the customer segment we could already touch. And there's also an evolving customer demographic. We can see that the boomers are less and less consuming beer as they become older, but the millennials are becoming more and more a bigger market that can be potentially tapped into. If you look at this graph, we can actually see that the sales for beers are slowly decreasing. It is a really slow decrease, but this is showing once again that there is some challenges going on in the industry and that it is not as dynamic as it used to be in the past. Now, if you look at the current situation for the company in itself, we can see that Labatt is doing pretty well in the industry. It is the largest brewer in Canada with more than 350 million bottles of beer sold to customers across Canada. And it is also really deeply rooted in its values and its traditions, but also always looking for ways to stay ahead and be innovative. So these are the core competencies. Labatt is also proud to have really strong brands that are well known through all Canada, such as Bud Light, Budweiser, Stella Artois, Corona, and this is just a few because there are much more. Now, the core competencies that we really identified in Labatt is its superior quality products, this constant emphasis on quality, but also this really strong branding that Labatt has the chance to have that other brands don't have. Working with this, we identified a few challenges that are important to keep in mind in order to make our recommendations. So first of all, more challenges that the industry is facing as a whole, more globally, are first, as we mentioned, a shifting customer demographics that can be a challenge that is important to address at the front of the beginning of it before it becomes something that everyone is already taking care of. And there's also an issue with this new customer segment that we identified as a potential challenge, which is that they have low brand loyalty. So it is really important to make sure to counter that and make sure that we are still a brand that is appealing to them. And lastly, obviously, the declining beer sales and the fact that the industry is maturing is something that we need to keep in mind in order to stay competitive and to stay the leader in Canada. On a more company level, the proper challenges that we might face are an operational capacity. We want to make sure that we're going to have enough capacity to follow our recommendations and to make sure that we are able to entertain, to try to do new products and pursue new alternatives. And also, it is really important for Labatt to keep its costs low. This is one of our values, one of your values and priorities. So we want to make sure that this is a challenge that we're addressing. Now, let's look at your target customer. The target customer is a millennial. So meet David. David is 24 years old. He just graduated from college. He's obviously, just like most millennials, very tech savvy. And he's also proud of being knowledgeable about beer. He wants to taste new flavors. He has several impressions on beer. He knows what he wants, and he wants to test new products. And he's also looking for an experience around beer, not just drinking beer for the sake of drinking alcohol, but rather really having the whole experience with it, with the taste and this particular experience. Now let's run for alternatives. So now that we've done kind of an analysis of the industry, let's look at the alternatives that we tried to pursue and see which was the best option. So we considered seasonal launch for our products, or just pushing one single product heavily into the market in order to have the depanneurs increase their sales and have increased sales ourselves, or market an existing product more heavily for the depanneurs. If you look at our decision metrics, you can see that seasonal launch not only helps with increasing sales, but it also helps in reaching millennials, as well as being innovative while still being aligned with our values, and finally having a value added to our shareholders. Hence, this is why we decided to go with that first option, considering that the others are not offering as much privilege.
Why do you say that the millennial reach for the existing market would be low?
Because we do believe that with the current products, there is not, what we mean by this is that the brand loyalty is not really strong, But we do believe that with seasonal launch and premium products, we can sort of tap into that brand loyalty that is absent right now. So we do believe that by keeping the existing market, we will still be in this kind of situation where there is no real strong brand loyalty for the millennials. So I'll now pass it on to Hannah and then we'll explain our strategy more in detail.
So we will be launching a series of seasonal products, and these seasonal drinks will be collectibles. If you walked around any university campus across North America, you will see a staple of someone that looks like me holding the Starbucks pumpkin spice latte in their hands every single fall. And this is becoming more and more a trend with millennials. We want something that is unique and something that kind of plays to our narcissism, something that we can post on Instagram and share with our friends and have this different products that really showcases a one-of-a-kind mentality. So these new products, there will be one beer, so a drink that plays to Labatt's true tradition, and then one mixed drink, which will capitalize on the new emerging markets of different, like Mike's Hard Lemonade, a lot of the Palm Bay mixed drinks, which are growing in popularity. And we've chosen 3 seasons to market this in: summer, fall, and winter. Quebec doesn't really have a spring. It's for about a week. So we decided not to go with that season, and we've chosen these 3 seasons because we believe that we could have the largest amount of sales during them. And then we also believe that this strategy helps us introduce products that customers might not buy every single week on a yearly basis. So Labatt can go out on a limb and introduce new products that might not have a stable following throughout the entire year, but will have very high peak sales at certain times. So we will be selling these through the local dépanneurs. And we will have 2 different sizes. So there will be the tall boy that will be sold individually, and then we'll also sell them in 6-packs. We believe that the 6-pack will be ideal because the smaller packages offer higher margins, and we will sell this at a 50% premium over regular beers like Budweiser or Coors Light. So our location. So the criteria of selection that we wanted for the dépanneurs we wanted it to be in an urban area. We believe that this would play to the trend of the millennials that we're going after. A lot of millennials flock in these urban areas, and we want a high population density because we are limited to only 100 dépanneurs to open up. We want to make sure that we can have as many people come in and try our product as possible. And then we are targeting to the young population, to the millennials, because we believe that they have the adventurous spirit necessary to try these new and semi-unique products. And then also their drinking attitudes align with Labatt, as in we like to drink. These are the locations of the depths that we will be targeting. You can see that a lot of them are around colleges, so Concordia, HEC, McGill. In the Montreal area. We are containing our market target launch to Montreal because we believe that it fits our selection criteria perfectly. And as this is a trial phase, of course we want to implement it into the greater Quebec region, but Montreal has the necessary attributes to see whether or not this will be a successful launch. So we believe that these dépanneurs will want to participate in this new seasonal drink launch because it will have an increase in sales. This trendy product will drive customers into the dep and try it out. And then it also will be categorized as an impulse buy. You might, initially, we believe that with our marketing strategy that we'll go over later, initially it will be an impulse buy, but with our marketing we'll try to solidify customers repeatedly purchasing these new seasonal drinks. And then we will be offering these deps exclusive distribution, so they will not be sold in big box stores. And then these drinks will also have higher margins because they are a limited edition. We can sell it at a higher price point, which we will go over later. And then it will drive in store traffic into the deps because of all the other reasons, because of the exclusive distribution. So these 3 product specificities. So we want to make sure that each seasonal drink has a unique feeling and a unique attitude towards it. So in summer, we will emphasize the fact that we want a drink that is light in calories. Everybody wants to fit into their bikini. And then we also want a refreshing taste because that is something that, you know, with the hot weather. And so we've chosen for our beer is like a light summer brew. And then our mixed drink is a pineapple spritzer that you can make low calorie, you can have no sugar added. And so for fall, we want to emphasize crisp fall flavors. So we'll have a hard apple cider, and then mixed drink pumpkin pie because that's everybody's favorite. And then for winter, we'll have a full flavor and indulgence because it's around the holidays. And so we'll have a beer with stronger spices, and then a mulled wine cooler that will fit in with the seasonality. So this is our packaging. So we want something that is bright and that has a lot of designs and is a little bit unique from something that you would walk into any Depener and see a Coors Light or a Budweiser, something that you could put on Instagram or you could show off that has a unique feel to it. So we also have a QR code that creates a Snapchat filter to which it has the company branding, so it has Labatt branding onto Snapchat or Instagram. So we believe that this will help consumers also market our product for us. And so then finally, we will push for our customers to share on social media, so that will be the QR code. And we will advertise heavily in the Montreal region. So we will do this through traditional social media channels like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat to showcase our seasonal launches. And then we will have our seasonal products, so these seasonal summer drinks, on the most lucrative shelves in the Depeners. So we will require that these Depeners put it in the most visible spot in order to showcase our products because they are there for a limited time. And so then finally, our promotional pricing. So we want consumers to not only buy just the tall boy, but also to buy a 6-pack. So if you buy a tall boy and a 6-pack, you do get a sizable discount on the 6-pack. And so that will be our promotional activity in order to generate revenue and increase customer loyalty. So now I'll give it to Hugo to go over the financials.
Thank you, Hannah. So as we've seen, really what we've based upon the information that you guys have provided to really calculate how much we might expect to gain from this. Really, our entire strategy is about growing with a growing market, that is the mixed drinks and specialty beers. So really, you've discussed that there was an issue with Depeners having stagnant growth, even negative growth. So really, what we're providing them with a specialty product, something that they'll be happy to promote and that customers will evidently love. We're providing them with growth 1.5% in the first year, and it goes up to 4.5% in terms of sales for Depeners in the second year. Evidently, if you have questions on financials, we can address them more into detail in the question period. But really what that allows for is we're tackling the customer needs. We're really, again, creating a quality product and, again, tapping into Labatt's values of constantly improving its product. In terms of what it allows for Labatt itself, not the Depeners, really, you can create additional revenues. So we're talking between 1.6 and 2.1 over the first 2 years. And then there are some costs associated. Lower bound, higher bound are illustrated here. Evidently budget are always subject to some variation, but it rounds up to 2.5 million. The net cost is somewhere between 0.3 and $1.3 million. Really, that's a very cheap cost for a testing for a product that, if proven successful, growing with a growing market, will evidently be easy to launch elsewhere because once we have something that we know is successful, it's really interesting to launch it nationwide. So what we're doing today is positioning Labatt as a leader in the very promising segment of mixed drinks and craft beer. There are some risks and maybe challenges to the solution. Some might say that we overextend, that we're trying to do too many beers. However, we've seen it's something with a very interesting premium and something that can be done in limited quantities. So we are certain that you guys have the capabilities to really do this successfully. At the same time, it's a limited market launch, so you really have building your relationship with the customers in a specific region, and the same thing goes with the Depeners in a limited area. And finally, we're exciting customers. We have new products that we are certain that your customers will love. We have social media that really ties in and really allows you to tap in the needs of customers going forward.
So our implementation, we will initially quickly begin with R&D and select the participating defineurs. And then our launches will be in May for the summer drinks, in September for the fall drinks, and then in December for the winter drinks. So we believe that this is enough of a time span for each product to have that that necessity to get to the depth and get the product. While making it a short enough time frame that it's not overused and it stays relevant and exciting. So now Violin will go through the takeaways.
Yes, so our key takeaways for today is we really believe that more than just disrupting the Montreal market for beer, which is something that we are sure Labatt is looking forward to do, our solution will really enable all stakeholders to really have their win. First, on the depanneur side, of course, it will enable them to increase their sales, increase the drive-in traffic in their stores, the in-store traffic, because it's going to make their customers to be curious about testing their products, see what are the seasonal products of the day, etc. For the customer, of course, it is offering a unique experience that is not offered elsewhere, and also really innovative offerings, making the beer a product that you want to be interested in and not just a commodity product or something like this. And finally, of course, for Labatt, a really increased brand awareness as well as more sales, but also a clear differentiation from their competitors and a higher margin. So we really do believe that these recommendations are not only fitting the values of Labatt, but also going towards this willingness of being innovative and being a leader in the market by offering bold solutions. And thank you very much for your time. We hope you enjoyed the presentation et nous pourrons répondre aux questions en français comme en anglais.
Maybe I can start. You've touched a little bit about the proliferation of brands and that there's a lot of brand out there. Why do you think that this seasonal launch, because other brewers are also launching seasonal launch, so why do you think this one would be different than what's already there in the market?
So yeah, the key difference that we do believe, and we also touched upon at the beginning of the analysis, is that Labatt is benefiting from a crucial brand awareness that everyone has for them. So we do believe that if they start launching this kind of products, it will really position them into a leadership position because of the recognition that everyone has about the brand. And we also believe that while maybe adding more brands can be something that is highly competitive, we also think that, for example, the mixed drink market is really growing and we need to tap into it soon before it really gets overcrowded. So it is something to do regardless.
But would it be under a new brand, or because you talk about the brand awareness, but I thought we were launching a new brand?
We would market this under the Labatt brand because
Okay.
we do want it to be tied to the overarching brand.
Okay.
En français. Je suis propriétaire de dépanneur aujourd'hui. Quelque chose que je ne comprends pas dans la présentation, c'est comment le consommateur fait pour savoir que c'est chez moi qu'il peut acheter le produit.
Très bonne question. En fait, le consommateur va savoir. Évidemment, on sait que le consommateur qui achète ce genre de bière, c'est vraiment un achat qui est impulsif. Donc, dans un premier temps, lui, ça va être en voyant sur les tablettes, on propose un produit qui est innovateur puis qui, lui, on va dire, ah, pourquoi pas une bière d'été, ça me tente, quelque chose qui est nouveau. Ça, c'est dans une première partie. Deuxièmement, on se concentre sur un marché qui est assez précis. On est sans dépanneur, on se focus autour des universités, donc évidemment, on va être capable d'avoir du marketing qui est très ciblé, et plus encore, avec la stratégie de Snapchat, des filters, ces choses-là. La seconde, qu'un de vos utilisateurs utilise le filter, on sait exactement qui il est, puis on est capable de faire du marketing extrêmement ciblé par la suite, sachant qu'il a utilisé le filter et qui est évidemment donc intéressé vers ce type de bière.
So you guys presented 6 different products, right, in total? And you presented one target customer being David, 24-year-old, just graduated. Is he your target market for the 6 products, or are you touching different markets in there?
I think that he would be more towards the beer focus of each season. So we do believe that having both the mixed drink and the beer helps us target all millennials, because not everybody likes necessarily the taste of beer, and they want something that is a little bit stronger alcohol content for the same price, or just something that has a completely different flavor. So we believe that that targets all millennials in general. So David is is more specific to the beer category.
What would you tell to a banner like Couche-Tard, that is our biggest customer, if you launch a product that is exclusive to his main competitor?
Okay, so we believe that because this is a initial market launch, the Dépanneurs, it would be a perfect place for these more impulse buys. So that's really what we're going after. We believe that initially within this target market, or this initial launch, a lot of what people will buy will be they see this brightly colored beer can and they want to know what that is, and it's got cool designs. I'll buy it. And so we believe that at Couche-Tard that might not have the same mentality as in a Dep where you're already going there likely for alcohol, and in Couche-Tard it's other things as well.
And also just to add that, as we've seen, the local dépanneurs are having more trouble nowadays, but if we manage to successfully help them, nothing prevents us to expand our line and also send it to more chain dépanneurs if the model is successful.
Clear. What's your expected EBITDA after 2 years? You've talked a bit about the 2.5 million. You've touched a little bit on the sales, but the net sales, what would it be at?
We'd have to see, because like the calculations we have that represent about 1% of the total beer market in terms of sales. And if I'm right, exactly the number we have. So in the best case, we've made two scenarios. If we're looking at the marginal profits for Labatt compared to the current product offering, we're making 1.1 million for the second year in terms of additional revenues. So since that's about 1% of the total market, we can expect a bit high, over $100 million in additional revenues compared to what you're doing right now.
Anything else? I'm good.